I think the overall motto of this feature that I've done for the past 3 years has basically been the words, thrill me. And so here I am reviewing one of my probably favorite movies of horror uh, tonight. Basically, Night of the Creeps. Uh, I don't know where to begin other than this is the first movie Fred Decker did. And funny thing is, the first time I saw this movie was probably on HBO, like early in the morning. I remember HBO used to instead of showing this movie late at night, it used to be on freaking like early, like 5 o'clock in the morning. Like so, I would say about that, and it was like I remember catching glimpses of it, but never got to see the whole movie until like woke up before my parents got up, like one night. And I like watched the movie till beginning to end. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And I'm surprised HBO did that. And the second time I saw it was in AMC when they started to show it, and they showed the director's cut. I was like blown away at the end. I'm like, that's not the ending I'm used to. So here I'm reviewing Nights of the Creeps, and technically this is pretty much the first movie I was introduced to the man, the legend, Tom Atkins. I mean, I pretty much have grown a little more appreciative of the man over the years. I've come to realize that I've got a ton of his movies now. I mean, literally I do. I have this movie. I have The Fog. I have Escape from New York. I have uh, Halloween 3. I have Maniac Cop. I have Valentine's Day. Uh, I am surprised. And Lethal Weapon. Holy crap, that's a lot of movies of Tom Atkins in it. I think I have a bias here. But yeah, this movie, again, it's another zombie movie I'm reviewing. But unlike the previous movies, well, okay, yesterday's movie had a little bit of cannibalism to it. This one has a lot going on with it. It is not just a zombie movie. It's a pod person movie from like the early 50s. The moment the movie starts, it has a 50s vibe to it, like a nostalgic 50s vibe with the aliens shooting at each other, and the black and white opening, and then you have basically uh, the cut to now pretty much an 80s slasher film, where, well, so I'd say an 80s slasher film, that's later on. I mean, an 80s teen sex comedy, basically, in the early 80s. That's what the next act is. And then you pretty much get into the slasher movie. It takes a very dark turn. Well, I'm sorry, it always took a dark turn the moment you sort of see Tommy Atkins in the movie. I mean, that's like a horrific, what the fuck dream sequence of all dream sequences. Besides, probably the most random moment since the Nazis, werewolves in, guess we're saying where the Gestapo guys and American War in London, that dream sequence in that one. You have that one. I mean, it's a total what the fuck, but it does set up this character's motivation, his mood. I mean, throughout the entire movie. And this movie's just littered with cameos of the character actors too. It's another great thing I liked about it. I mean, I always knew Dick Miller was in this movie. It's the first thing I saw this movie. The first time I saw this, it was a scene of Tom Atkins' character, the kid, and going to the police impound for the flamethrower, and here's Dick Miller as the guy. I mean, I kind of liked that. It's like pretty much almost everything in the '80s he's in mostly of stuff. Like he's in Terminator, he's in this movie, he's in Gremlins. There's a lot of movies he's in the '80s. I guess I'm gonna count too. But yeah, this movie's great. I don't know where to begin. Where this, I mean, there's a lot good about this. I mean, the effects are amazing still to this day, especially the puppet X zombie. That's still one of my favorite zombies of all time. I mean, that thing is just creepy as fuck. and just the snarl he gives is just an amazing emotion, and so the fact that basically, and the design too, is the fact that he's just a rotted corpse with the white parts of his uniform just rotted away, and also the shotgun wound over him, and it's a great design and great imposing figure. We don't get much of, but it's just like holy shit when he shows up. It just this movie takes that slasher turn, and then it takes the zombie turn near the end of the movie where it just goes balls to the wall insanity. I mean, it is just holy shit. I mean, there's dark humor all over the place, and just cheesy one-liners too. It is just glorious. And I mean, really, the thing that you're going to be torn on is the ending. I mean, either you're going to like the original cut or the director's cut. I mean, I got both versions because I have the DVD special edition. I think the Blu-ray has it too. I haven't got the Blu-ray yet, but I probably will. I'm always tempted to get that Blu-ray. It's like, should I double dip? Yeah, I should. But yeah, I mean, it's really the preference you have. I mean, I personally like the director's cut ending. I mean, the original ending is good and abrupt, but I just like the ending of a character's burnt corpse falling over, still well, not alive, but undead, and it going into a cemetery, and all of a sudden, like, oh shit, this thing's gonna take a turn for the worse, and then all of a sudden, then pretty much the twist happens, and it's a nice little throwback to make like a bookend to the beginning of the movie. That's what I liked about it. It has nice bookends to the beginning. It's like a nice beginning and a good ending. It bookends each other perfectly for me. Unlike like pretty much, I mean, the original theatrical ending has a nice horror ending to a movie. Like, it's a nice gut punch. But, I mean, they're both good endings, but I just prefer the director's cut ending. I mean, if you ever see it in both movies, you'll enjoy both endings. I just prefer the director's cut. But yeah, this is Fred Decker's first movie that I know of. I think it's only one of 3 movies he's done. Well, he's going to be doing another movie soon. I'm kind of curious about that result. But yeah, this is a good movie. This is my little movie. If I have an hour and a half to kill, I'll just put this movie on, just watch it, just have fun with it, because it's a fun movie. The characters are all fully dimensional. There's a lot of texture to all these characters in this movie. I mean, the main characters are just great. I mean, at first you think these 2 guys in the beginning of the movie are just typical teenage romp of the 80s, but it's not just that. There's like more texture to that, and especially like, I mean, it's just great. I just really enjoy this movie for that, and I also just but really this is Tom Atkins' movie. I mean, Tom Atkins makes this movie what it is. I mean, he comes in every single line saying "thrill me," and just bam, he just nails this character, and it's just his defining role for me. I mean, for Maniac Cop, it's good, but it's basically the same role he's having in that one. This is pretty much the primer he had for this. I mean, it's basically the same role he had. It's the same freaking thing. He did this movie first and then did that movie 2 years later. It's the same movie. But yeah, this is a great movie. Fully recommend it. If you've ever seen it, I highly say you seek this down. If you see the bargain bin thing, you buy that movie right up, because you'll enjoy this movie. There is so much love and nostalgia for the 50s, the 80s horror in this, sci-fi, 80s teen comedies is a nice thing to it, and pretty much 80s action movies too, I'll say, because pretty much, like I said, Atkins has this goes, I mean, that ending just goes crazy, and Atkins just captures that action 80s ad-libbing perfectly by screaming frickin' one-liners like crazy, especially I don't know which one of my favorites of the that climax, or is it's either I've got good news and bad news, ladies. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. Or it's Miller time. Oh, God. Yeah. Also, there's another good thing about the movie too. I mean, the female character in this is really good too. I mean, first you think she's gonna be the typical bimbo, and then actually, uh, she just gets this more dimension added to her after. I mean, that's what this movie I love is the texture. Like everybody has a dimension to this. I mean, not even the stupid Jack character has a little added texture to this, and it's just a great movie. And I just love another thing I love about this movie is basically uh, she has the flamethrower. Just this slight pause, or the way she acts in the scene is just so perfect. And like her lead actor just straps the flamethrower, and she's like, "Okay." It's just classic. I really love this movie. I mean, this is probably one of the few horror movies I'll actually watch like crazy. I mean, this one, Maniac Cop 2, and Phantasm 2 are probably the ones I could sit down and watch like over and over again. Uh, and so I would say John Carpenter's Halloween as well. Oh man, I mean, I did. I remember watching one time. I watched a lot of John Carpenter's Halloween and Halloween 4 back to back when it was on freaking AMC, all those marathons. So I was like, oh, we gotta watch that. Oh, we gotta watch it again. Because I just love that scene where Donald Pleasant's in the diner and sees the carnage and like, Michael, and that pan zoom is just so fucking awesome. But yeah, I'm just changing the subject now. Anyway, Night of the Creeps, one of the best movies I've seen ever. And if you ever seen it, the trailer I'll have attached to this article. If that doesn't get you hooked, I don't know what does. Because this movie is just freaking awesome. So yeah, it's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. One of the best horror movies ever. And if you never saw it, go see it. Just drop everything you buy that and rent it. They'll thank me later. So yeah, tomorrow I think is Pin or Shocker. I don't know which one. It's one of those two. Having a little difficulty here remembering that one. But I want to say it's Pin. I think Shocker's after that one. We'll find out. Because it's not Carnival of Souls and it's not Hush. Because those guys are in the thing. I want to say it's Pin. We'll find out tomorrow, both you and me. Until then.